Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars figure review. Next up for you today I'm going to give you a look at a really creepy looking duo from Wave 5 of the Legacy Collection. And that is these guys here. Trinto Dwaba and Dice Ibigan. Two very creepy looking aliens from A New Hope. You see these guys, like Pons Limbic that I've just reviewed, very briefly in the cantina scene of A New Hope. We see Dice sat at the bar with the Wolfman Laxivrak, and we see Trinto sat at a table with Momo Naden and some other aliens, and he's just lurking in the shadows. You can just make him out. So it's nice that Hasbro are finally giving us all the background cantina aliens. These will go really well with the other aliens that I've got in my collection. First up, I'm going to give you a look at the packaging he comes in. Really like the picture on the front. When I walked into my local store and saw this figure on the pegs, I saw this image on the front, and for some strange reason, don't ask me why, I thought that it was a repacked Utapan Warrior. It just looked, from at first glance, it just looked like a Utapan Warrior on the front of the card. I know that there hasn't been any plans to re-release that figure, but as I said, at first glance I was just like, what? The Utapan Warrior? Weird. But yeah, it's Trinto Dwaba. And there you can see Dice Ibigan as well. I'll quickly read from the back of the box. It says, Trinto Dwaba is a Stennes Shifter, a species that can blend unnoticed into crowds. He makes a living by turning lawbreakers over to Imperial authorities. Dice Ibigan is a female Florn Lamproid who believes in the rebellion and is attuned to the Force. So it would appear that Dice Ibigan is a Force-sensitive character. This again comes with parts to build R2L3, which in a couple of reviews time I'll be giving you a look at. So there's his packaging. I'm going to start off by giving you a look at Trinto Dwaba, as this is my favourite figure from this set. Really like this head sculpt. Rather than some Star Wars cantina alien, he looks like some sort of supervillain from a horror film. I really do like that. That is really good. Very pleased with the head sculpt on this one. One thing to point out is that we only see this guy from the shoulders up in the movie, so we don't actually know what the rest of his body looks like. So it's nice that Hasbro have seemingly taken some artistic license and gone ahead and sculpted a brand new body for this character and giving him, I guess, a body that they thought he would have in the movie. Whether or not there was a full costume for the character created for the film, I'm not quite sure, but as I said, you only really see this guy from this angle in the movie. As I said, he sat at the table with Momo Naden, and you can really barely make out any of the detail on him in the movie. You can just see his face covered up by the hood. So it's really good that we finally know what this guy looks like properly. The articulation in this figure is decent. It's a bit of a mixed bag because there's some complaints I have about it, but for the most part it's pretty good. He's got a ball jointed neck, ball hinged shoulders, swivel wrist, a swivel waist, swivel hips, ball hinged knees and ball hinged ankles. What I am going to complain about is the fact that he's got those awful swivel cut elbows, and I really hate these, especially on this figure because they are extremely loose. He does come with a blaster pistol. Don't know where you can see that, the camera's not really in focus. Bit blurry. Right, you get the idea. He's got a holster on his belt as well that can slot into. And this hood, or cowl as it's been called, is removable. Sometimes you might have to pop off the head, which I'm going to have to do in this case. But if you pop off the head, then the hood comes off very easily, and you can just pop the head back on. There you go. You can see he's got some sort of robotic chip on the side of his head there. Might have to do a bit of research into this character and find out a little bit more about him, because there's so many mysterious elements about him. As I said, very nice head sculpt. And you can just slot the hood back on. There we go. Very nice figure. Excellent addition to the Mos Eisley Cantina. If you remember my Mos Eisley diorama that I did a while back, these guys will fit perfectly in there, so I might have to do a reshoot of that video at some point down the line. Next up, I'm going to give you a look at Dice Ibigan. As I said, this is the slug-like, worm-like character that we see at the bar with Laxivrak. Interesting note about this character, she is actually in a relationship with Laxivrak. You know, they are lovers, so imagine what the babies will look like. Obviously this creature being what it is, and Laxivrak being a wolfman type character. Very ugly offspring. I absolutely love the texture of this figure's skin. As you can see, Hasbro have gone all out on sculpting this one perfectly. You know, it's got awesome texture and detail. This is a similar case as with Trinto. You know, in the movie we actually only see Dice from like that sort of angle, so we don't actually know what the rest of her body looks like. So again, Hasbro have gone out, taken a little bit of creative license and sculpted a whole new body. Obviously, with it being a little bit limited as to what this figure can do, the articulation isn't fantastic. She does have a swivel neck, and each of these small arms are swivel on both sides, which is good. And as I said, the detail in the skin and the texture, and the level of detail that Hasbro have put into this figure is really amazing. And as I said, Hasbro have really gone all out on creating some awesome figures for this wave. So that's Dice Ibigan, and that's Trinto Dwaba. Again, two strange Cantina aliens from A New Hope. So if you've got some sort of Cantina scene going off in your collection, I highly recommend these two. So thanks for watching this review, and I'll be back with another one next. So until that time, as always, keep collecting, and may the force be with you.